Okay, this afternoon, what we're going to be looking at is network management. So we've kind of progressed on from building networks, although we've still got some maybe some new work to do, and then moving into network management. So this is kind of what we're going to be looking at this afternoon. So looking at monitoring, what is it, why it's important, why it's important for you. Looking at fault monitoring and fault management, again what it is and why it's important in a business environment. Might get on to how these two things are related, so performance and fixing faults and how they're actually linked. And looking at some of the software, and that's what I want to focus on this afternoon, is having a look at the software that's available. A lot of software that we put on the network is free, but there are paid-for tools that obviously have a lot more features. So we can have a play about with an experimentation with that as well. So when it comes to network management, what we're looking at is that they need to be constantly monitored. That's where you, as a network manager, once you've actually set your network up, you're actually monitoring it, you're actually making sure it's running at peak performance all of the time, because that's kind of what your clients want, and that's what you're paid to do. Things can change, obviously, when it comes to networking. So you're going to have users coming and going, adding more users, adding expansions onto your network. So, for example, you might be working in an environment like this. We might go into new courses, into wild and woolly areas. We might go into agriculture, for example. And, for example, you might have to set up the networking and move on to safety field. These things can happen, and you need to be able to monitor and manage that. Software is upgraded. So, what is the latest Windows Server version at this moment in time? 2016. Thank you, Reece. So Server 2016 is the latest version that you can actually download from Microsoft Imagine and have a play about with that. What things are upgrading all the time? Can you imagine how difficult it would be to upgrade an entire network of, let's say, 3,000 computers from Windows 7 to Windows 10? Difficult? Yeah. Not as easy as actually doing it at home, where you just stick on a couple of links and do it for you. So we've got to be able to be aware of that, and that's part of network management. So network management itself, you can split it up into three activities: configuration, performance management, and as I mentioned before, fault management. So these are the three key areas that we're going to kind of pick apart and look at. So when it comes to configuration, we need to maybe identify certain areas when it comes to configuration that we need to play about with. So Francis this time. Francis, what piece of hardware could you configure on a network? Anybody have an idea? Yes. So we configure on the switch. So there's various things that we configure on the switch. Well, what could we actually configure on the switch? Say one thing. Yeah. Potentially, if it's managed switch, you can mess around with things like IP addressing. You can mess around with opening up ports and closing ports. Another piece of hardware that we can actually configure.
Banana phones.
So banana phones, you can actually configure those and get them onto the network. What kind of things might you need to configure? Well, on a banana phone. So the settings, what kind of settings, Jack? Well, so you could set some kind of permissions. What other things will be critical when it comes to networking and the kind of networks that you've actually set up? Yeah. What have you set up in your network? What configuration settings? Something like storage and quotas and things like that. Something a lot more fundamental than that. So users, we're going to come on to users later. What's one?
Printers.
So we can set up printers. Let's talk about hardware. One thing that you have set
Network
up.
card.
Network card. So thank you. I don't know what kind of things can we set up on a network card that you've all done. Thank you. IP addresses. So these are some things that you configure. What piece of security hardware can you configure? Firewall. So these are things that we can mess around with and configure. When it comes to software, we've kind of mentioned one or two things here. So we mentioned things like hardware quotas, storage space, and what other kind of things might you want to be able to configure over your network?
Firewall again.
So we can have a software firewall, we can do that.
Voice over IP.
So we can set up voice over IP.
You can run graphics program like this.
medium over your network, so you can configure that. So these are things that you could actually kind of set up. And we mentioned user accounts. What kind of things have you set up in user accounts? Yeah. So we've set up permissions, we've set up things like where you can have different passwords, we've set up user groups. But these are some of the things that we can actually set up. So configuration is quite a big area of network management. So, what do we think about performance management? Can anybody define that for us? What will we look at when we're managing performance on a network? What things do we need to consider? Okay. So transfer speed. One of the most important things is looking at how fast data is getting from A to B. So the amount of users you can say, and bandwidth. So these are the three sort of big metrics that we look at when managing your performance on a network. So when would you actually work out that the performance of your network is improving? Okay. So that's how you could do it. Yeah. So using the thing command, you could find out what the lag is, and that would be good or bad. What else? Yeah, the amount of complaints you actually don't get. Imagine you came into college and the network wasn't working particularly well, and you weren't able to log on and do everything. You'd be bringing up the help desk, and they could actually measure it by the amount of complaints they actually get within the space of the morning. So the absolute goal of performance management is to make sure you get a consistent level of service that is appropriate for all users. These benchmarks might be set by your management, your senior management, but that's overall what we're getting at. Not necessarily the fastest speed, but a speed that is acceptable and is consistent. When it comes to fault management, what we're looking at is being able to detect problems, being able to log problems, being able to let other people know when we've got problems, and being able to fix problems. Why is it important to log problems?
Just so you get the same fault multiplied, how to go through it in 5 minutes rather than
So if you've got the same problem that is repetitive, it keeps happening, then you'll be able to record that, you'll be able to identify that. It might be a particular piece of software. You bought it, you got it cheap off eBay, and you put it into your network, and it keeps falling down, and so you might be able to identify that as being a particular problem. It's really, really important to record and log these issues. So when it comes to fault management, there are overall goals. What is, do you think, the overall goal of fault management in a network? If performance is to have a consistent level of performance, what is the overall goal of fault management? So maybe to find a way around problems, but we could put a number on this. Ideally, how many faults do you want? Zero. Absolutely zero faults. Yeah? Or at least zero faults that you can admit to. If you can hide them, that's fault management. Okay. What I'd like to do is, I would like you to make sure that your on-the-desk machines are all connected to the network. Yeah? I'll put some software on the server in a folder in network share. There are 2 folders in there, one for audit, one for monitoring. I would like you to find the monitoring section, and there's some software that I'd like you to install on your desktop machines. This is what we're going to have an experiment on, and have a look at what the software actually does. So if you can, make sure that all your machines are on the network, and that you can access that network share, that's the next thing to do. Good for it. I'm now looking there. Jack Tyler was asking if I'm but it should be enough. Yes. Yeah, so what number are you? What number is your 12. 12. So, you've not got 12 in now. We go to.
you know, you'll need to be 13 to 13.
Whether they can do it, they can do it. They can do it. Go on, there you go. Find out which game.
Well,
Yeah. Right. There's not one of these is good, so you need to go look at it.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
We've got. It's just a weekend short.
oh, no, that way.
So you need a cable from that floor there into that. It's like the cable you've got going from the back of the house. It goes into the back of the.
Okay, so.
Try and do it like in the same way.
Put up server. Yeah. It might be better to copy it.
Who's touching?
And then.
The numbers are all the numbers are right.
What is
Server's
that?
now not on the network.
Good.
Which one's the server? The purple one
Right.
or the grey one?
Server is the purple one. Do not put the purple one.
The purple one has not been
Oh, sorry,
unplugged.
not the Vincent's purple.
Okay, so then which one's the grey one? 24 is there.